Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. I hope all of you are doing well and keeping safe and having a great time. So now that the winter is almost over, it's the last few days of winter here, and we happen to have the celebration of Saraswati Puja here in West Bengal, India. So to celebrate that, I drew the goddess and I have recorded the process of drawing, the coloring, everything of it, and here I am posting it on our channel. If you remember, the last video that we posted on this channel was also of the goddess Saraswati herself, but that drawing was created by my sister and this is made by me. If you don't know this already, this channel is handled by both me and my sister together. It's a collaboration from both of us, and we draw, we record ourselves drawing, not ourselves actually, we record the drawing and we post it on our channel, and here is one of such videos. To talk about the process, actually I want to give you a little brief about what Saraswati Puja is and what it resembles. If you are from West Bengal, you may already know about this, but if you're not, Saraswati is the goddess of education, basically, like any kind of learning, any form of education, and she is the goddess of knowledge. And in Bengal we worship her so that we can concentrate in our studies or any co-curricular activities that we are taking up in our life, like music or drawing or even sports. Some people even worship Goddess Saraswati if they want to improve enhance their performance in the sport that they are playing. So in a Bengali household, Saraswati Puja is a big deal. It is usually celebrated somewhere at the end of January or in the beginning of February, and this year we had the celebration February, just a few days back. It is a big deal. We have a lot of food. We eat vegetarian food that day. On this auspicious occasion, vegetarian is what we eat, and there's new clothes that we wear, and we go out, hopping from pandal to pandal. People usually worship Goddess Saraswati at home as well. We do too. We have aarti and we offer her fruits and call it prasad. That's what we offer her. Growing up, it has always been a big deal, and now as an adult, it's still a big deal for all of us. It's a very happy occasion for all of us to celebrate and be together with family and friends and just have fun. Though the one that I'm drawing over here, the idea, if you ask me where I got it from, growing up, I have always seen this beautiful picture of Goddess Saraswati at home, which we worship actually. And I was inspired from that. It's a very traditional picture where the goddess sits on her lotus flower with her vehicle, the swan, the white swan, just sitting by her feet. And that's the look I have gone with. It's a very traditional look. In Bengali, we call it Shabiki Shaj, which means which literally translates to a traditional look. So over here, I have colored her in yellow. It's kind of a traditional color on the goddesses that we give. Even if you see pictures of Ma Durga or Ma Kali, it's usually sometimes you paint it yellow. It's kind of a color that we give the goddess. Another picture that we have, it was it's mainly that she was wearing a white sari with a white blouse, but it was looking too white for me, so I just wanted it to give a little color but also keep the sober look to it and make it look very pleasant, because Ma Saraswati, she resembles calmness and purity and serenity. It's very serene to look at her. So she is in most of the pictures, her idol, she's mostly wearing white or very light shades of colors. For me, I wanted to give her a little bit of color, a bit of a vibrant look, give a little definition to the picture. So I just made the sari light purple. That's the color that I went for. And for the blouse, I made it a darker shade of purple. Not a darker shade, just a brighter shade, or to give it the difference and make it a little more vibrant. The coloring process for me was the best part actually. I really enjoyed coloring the process. Drawing did not take me much time, but coloring, it did take me a lot of time. Because first of all, I was drawing it in the winters, and in West Bengal it gets really, really cold. So I couldn't switch on the fan, and there was no source of wind over here, so I just had to rely on the natural air to just make the color dry. And I had to wait. I found myself fanning it with a piece of paper so that it could, I could accelerate the process of drying the paints. But I was applying very thick layers of colors because I wanted it to, I wanted to get that opaque look, which if I use a lot of water and add less of colors, it doesn't give me that opaque look. It just gives me the loose colors, which I did not want. I wanted it to be completely opaque and very bright. That's the result that I was looking forward to. And hence I was using very thick layers of colors, and because of which it was taking a long time for it to dry, and hence my process overall got really extended. But nevertheless, I really enjoyed coloring because it was very peaceful for me to color, and I always enjoy coloring. The colors that I'm using over here is mainly gouache paints, so I'm using very little color and very large quantity of paints to get that opaque look and that vibrancy. Ma Saraswati is all about peace and calmness, and when you look at her, you can feel that calmness in the goddess. She's considered to be the calmest of all gods and goddesses, and that's why it's very serene to look at her. So everything about her is calm and poised, and kind of elegance too. So her vehicle, the white swan, and we all know that white swan are very serene to look at, very beautiful to look at, and it's a sign of purity, a sign of innocence, and that's what Ma Saraswati is also about. So everything about Ma Saraswati is about purity and calmness and poise and everything. So she holds a veena. Veena is considered to be one of the it's an Indian classical instrument, which you will find in many of the classical music. If you listen to Indian classical music, you will find the instrument veena in many of those musical arts, and she sits on a pink lotus, I believe. And again, lotus is something that resembles peace, and a white swan as well. It's a sign of calmness and poise, and a lot of elegance to it. So that is what Ma Saraswati is all about. Coloring the lotus was actually really difficult for me. I had to give it retouches multiple times because I was trying to create the effect of light and shadow, and I the mix of colors was, the first time I did it, the mix of colors was not the right. So when it dried, it became really dark, the shadow parts, and I had to redo it all of it again, and I had to again use a lot of colors to hide the first layer of it and create the second layer on top of it. But later on, the results were quite good, and I was impressed with the results that I got after I redid it and gave it my final touches. I was happy how the lotus looked with all the light and shadow effect, and also the base color that I applied, the pink color, the baby pink color that I applied. I was very happy with the results of how it turned out to be. For the hair, I went with a mixture of dark brown and a little bit of black to it. I did not want to make it all black because it looks, it doesn't look very natural. So for the base color, I used like a dark brown mixed with black, and on top of that, I'll be adding highlights and lowlights in a couple of minutes. The swan, I colored it entirely white, and to create shadow, I added light shades of grey to create the shadow effect, and to also distinguish the feathers from the rest of the body to give it a kind of a realistic look. I was not going for an absolute realistic look because it wouldn't match the tone of the picture that I wanted to achieve, which is kind of a drawing and a traditional look. So I give it like I wanted it to look like a drawing, so that's what I went for. Drawing the swan was actually the easiest part of the entire process, and I was very happy with how the swan turned out to be. Watch till the end of the video to find out how the swan looked like. Now I'm just creating the backgrounds. I did not want to keep the background entirely white because it was looking very plain and blunt, so I just created a lot of designs and added some colors to make it look a bit more vibrant and to create the effect of the background. And I wanted it to be as a backdrop behind the halo and the goddess herself. And that's what I went for. Here I am adding the cyan color to the background, and I'm creating some mandala designs to create, to give it some depth and design and make it look interesting. I'm almost towards the end of the process, and adding the final details was actually quite difficult. I did not think it would be that difficult, and I had to think a lot, like what would really go with the overall look of the picture and what would really look good over here. And that's what made it a bit more difficult for me to add. And then I had to create all those designs, add colors, and think what kind of a color combination would look good for this kind of picture, and then went ahead with it. Just adding the final details to the veena, to the backdrop, creating a few more designs. Adding the last few minor details, adding the highlights and the shadows to give depth to the picture and create that illusion of light and shadow on the picture. I didn't want to leave the bottom empty, so I created this very simple design to make it look like it was sitting on top, with the goddess sitting on top of a design which was made on the floor. And that's the look I was going forward with. And that's what I have created over here. I drew it over a couple of days, but if I were to say how long did it take me to complete the drawing, I think it would have taken me around 12 hours to complete this entire piece of drawing. And it was most of the time went into drawing the colors because I had my constraints, which I mentioned earlier. But overall, I was really impressed with how the entire work turned out to be. And here are the final results. This is how my finished artwork looked like. And let us know in the comments how you liked it. And please, if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please subscribe and press the bell icon so that you know whenever we upload a new video, you get the notification first. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more such videos.